So, hello everybody. Welcome to the Under 30 podcast, where we talk to some of the most interesting under 30 conservatives out there. And today we have our first guest ever, Miss Laci Williams, founder of Expressions Magazine, also the vice president of Turning Point USA at the University of Colorado at Denver, and interesting enough, also a race car driver. So, Miss Laci Williams, thank you for joining me today.
Hi, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, so I just have to say I'm very impressed with your work. I was going through Expressions magazine just recently, and by the way, Mom bought a subscription. She is now sold on the whole idea. So obviously, it's a
Cool.
great idea. You're doing well.
Thank you so much. That's who that was. I was kind of wondering. I was like, maybe there's relation there, but who knows?
Yes, it was. So I saw that you sold out your physical copies the first time around. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes. So the Expression magazine, I guess. Take me through what inspired it, because conservatives aren't really the cultural type, I imagine. So why make a cultural magazine?
Well, it's funny. Okay, so I was at chapter leadership training this past week for Turning Point, and I met with Candace Owens, and she's kind of the person that kind of breaks down that barrier between culture and politics. I think it's important that we take on those things. I'm not saying this on behalf of Turning Point, but on behalf of Expressions, that's our goal, if anything. Kind of saying it's okay if you're a conservative to have a voice that expresses more things than just money-related things, if that makes any sense. We're about fiscal responsibility and limited government, but there's no culture in it because we think we're going to lose the social issues. So when I started Expressions, I was actually at a Turning Point conference. Again, I'm all over the world. It's great. So we were at Student Action Summit on, I think it was somewhere in December. And so we're done listening to Charlie. I think we were like one of the last days of the conference. And I'm like, God, I'm exhausted. I love entertainment news. I've always been that way. And it's just like junk TV. That's a great filler. And so my two really good friends, Sarah Clark and Janae Cruz, we were sitting down and we're like, let's throw on some entertainment news and just trying to, not think about politics. And so the first thing we do, we turn on, I think it was like Entertainment Tonight or E or something like that. And the first thing that pops up is something that's related to politics. They're bashing on the president. I'm like, turn it off. And so then we decided to look through some magazines because, something else to do. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is overwhelmingly liberal. There's 100 Women of the Year, and not a single one is conservative. There's a problem here. And so we decided to, research this a little bit more. Like, are there any other female conservative lifestyle magazines out there? And it turns out there's not besides us. And so that's kind of where the seeds of Expressions was born. I kind of took a month and I was like, do I really want to do this? I'm going to have to put a lot of funding into it myself because having a different companies support a conservative lifestyle magazine, it's just not going to happen right off the bat. And so finally I got back into school and I started tabling and I had similar cultural conversations. I was like, okay, that's it. We're starting it right now. So I think it was like mid-January. We finally started getting things together.
Well, nice. Obviously, you are doing well. You sold out your first copy ever. So, I mean, that's incredible. It's interesting how there's a hole in the market for something that I never really imagined should exist, but obviously you're doing incredibly well. So, congratulations.
Thank you so much. Yeah, that was kind of the goal. Let conservatives know that it's okay to express their opinion in more things, than just what we're used to. It's okay to do that.
Awesome. And so after perusing some of the articles, I did have to read it, which, made me question what exactly I was doing at the moment because I wasn't trying to listen to Will Witt that whole time talk about that mids fashion, but it was interesting for sure. And something that really sparked my interest was the attention you guys pay to like femininity and this is probably going to sound terrible to some liberal folks, but typical gender roles and the fact that men and women have specific responsibilities to each other. And I was just wondering if you could talk about what your take on that is.
I would love to. So, what's funny about Will is he was my old field director for Turning Point. So I know him pretty well. And he definitely does enforce that sort of masculinity side to things. And so, this is something I talk about with my girls pretty often. I have over 50 people that are part of Expressions at this point, and we continue to grow every day. Every girl has a different view of what women are supposed to do in the house and men are supposed to do in the house, but we all kind of agree on the fact that men are the protectors. They're there to protect us. I'm obviously 5'4". I'm 116 pounds. A guy that's 250 and 6 foot is probably going to do a lot better defending me than I will myself unless I have a gun in my hand, which, 5 months till 21. So hold on to that. But it's okay to, be maternal. Women were put there. Like, we can have babies. Like, this is huge. We should, pride ourselves on the fact that we have this, power to create a life and keep it inside our bodies. Like, if feminists are willing to say, that is not our purpose, that is our purpose. That's huge. Guys can't do that. We should be really happy about that. That's something to be celebrated. Men and women are different. They complement each other well. It's like we were not meant to be the same. So, build on each other's differences. It's the similarities that keep us together.
That was perfect. Do you think there's a current war on gender roles, with the whole third wave feminism going on? Are those typical gender roles of men being the protector and women being motherly and maternal, is that under attack?
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, I go to CU Denver, so most of the people there, we're a blue state, and the Feminist March was huge here. Talking to a lot of these people every day about being a feminist, I'm like, you know what? Everything about being a feminist, it seems more feminine to accept the fact that we have these things that we can do that men can't, and vice versa. That's being feminine. First wave, I am so down with that. Getting the right to vote, I'm so first wave. Second wave, men and women can do the same job. I'm kind of iffy on that because my dad grew up and he worked on trucks and he was lifting heavy things. I can't do that. Some girls can. But then also this third wave, it seems more like the anti-Trump movement, the right to kill your own child. I am not down with that. That seems anything but feminine, anything but feminism, to be quite honest with you. It irritates the crap out of me. I'd like to see a fourth wave feminism come in where conservatives are allowed to join this fight, where it doesn't have to be the anti-Trump movement and the right to kill your own child. Gender roles are under attack right now. And I think it's important to recognize that I think men are kind of getting the worst of it. Women, it's very out there, but for guys, a good friend of mine, we're walking through Boulder, Colorado, and this is liberal central USA. We're walking through Boulder. He's a big guy, he's really into fitness, and they're looking at him, giving him dirty looks. I don't even know what they are. They're I don't know if it's a girl or a guy. I don't know what their hair is. They have their boobs strapped down. It's just very strange to me. There are two genders. And they're just looking at him, and finally he opens the door for this woman, and she goes, "I don't need you." And he's like, "I'm trying to be polite." Men are under attack for just being who they are. We need masculine men. It's important to have them, or else women can't be who they are.
Huh. That story about opening the door for somebody, I never actually have met someone with a story like that. I thought it was just sort of like a meme, but that's actually happened.
No. Don't go to Boulder, Colorado. It happens.
That's insane. And so that kind of fed into my last question here, which is LGBTQ plus everything else, the activism, the fighting for trans rights and all these things. Who gets the worst of it? Is it the people that are actually fighting for these issues because they look like idiots, or is it the people that are just saying, "Hey, it's not really, we have these two roles for a reason"? Who gets hurt more here?
Honestly, I think so me personally, and then also a lot of the girls in Expressions, we're kind of libertarian on the issue of gay marriage. So a lot of us are very religious. We just believe the government should stay out of marriage. So I'm on board with the gays. 95% of my friends that were some of my best friends growing up were gay. I took somebody that was gay to prom, just because it was more fun for me. But at the same time, it's there's a difference. I think we have to break down what it's the LGBTQ plus. I don't even know how many letters they have on there now. It's a lot. Transgenderism, it's a real problem, and I think that's the one that kind of irritates me the most. And I have to be careful on this because I know some people that are transgender, and it sucks for the people that are kind of going through that gender dysphoria. That's like for one person. I think some of it is kind of a trend, to be quite honest.
Yes.
Because, you know, when the idea of gays was first out, it was like everybody's like, it's horrible to be gay, this and that. And now it seems like more and more people are gay. I don't know if they're actually gay and that's the way God made them, or they're just looking for attention. I think we have a real mental health problem in this country. And I really do think, I think we kind of share the same pains, heterosexual people and people that are part of the community. You know, it's very coming of age stories, who you are, what you want to do. I think we kind of share the same level of issues. Like, they're dealing with their sexuality, but at the same time, if they're going to be helpful and wanting us to accept them, they don't need to be so rude just because I like guys and I prefer to keep it that way. I don't know. I think it can be that on both sides, but acceptance is huge. If they're going to preach acceptance to you, need to accept me for being gay or trans or this or that. Well, you need to accept me for me, you know, being heterosexual. It goes both ways. You have to be consistent.
Perfect. You nailed it. I've always been, it's one of those things where you never really know the right way to approach it, because the fact that the identity politics has grouped gay people in with transgender people, honestly, I have no issue with gay people. Live your life. I completely agree that the church is the one in charge of marriage, in my opinion, and the fact that the people who have this issue that they're going through has been grouped in with everything else, and then also with feminism, it's just mind-boggling to me.
Well, you're lucky you're not a girl, because I'm trying to help fight for the guys. It's like, you know what? It's okay to be a masculine guy and use your manners, and let's dine in this country. It's so sad. But, yeah, I mean, identity politics, it's very strange on the left. Right now, we're going through this sort of what's going to take over the left. Right now, it's kind of like identity politics, but we're seeing a rise of socialism, like it with New York, with that lady that won that this election for Congress. And socialism and identity politics, they totally butt heads with one another. I don't know what's going to win, but they can't exist together. They just don't. Like, they completely contradict by definition.
Awesome. Well, that's all the time we have for today. This has been super exciting. Thank you so much, Ms. Williams, for being my first guest ever.
I'm so happy to be a part of it.
Expressions Magazine, guys, go check it out. Sold out all their physical copies. You're going to have to go online, order it. My mom already did it, so you know it's probably worthwhile. Thank you so much again. Go ahead.
Thank you. Yeah, our second issue is going to be out September 21st, so look for that.
September 21st. All right. Well, I look forward to talking to you again. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks, Jake.